Have you ever experienced a moment where, amid intimacy, your body just didn't respond the way you expected? You're not alone. Today, we're addressing a topic that most people shy away from, but is incredibly important for anyone over 50. What to do when the penis loses firmness during intimacy. It's something that affects nearly half of men in this age group, and understanding it without shame can make all the difference. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell to avoid missing any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. Before we dive into this sensitive topic, I invite you to take a moment and ask yourself, what truly happens in our minds when we experience moments of physical vulnerability? What goes through our hearts when we encounter something unexpected, like a loss of firmness during the intimate act? It's a question that carries a lot of weight because, for many, intimacy is tied to notions of performance, strength, and control. And when something doesn't go as planned, the initial reaction is often frustration, a deep sense of disconnection, and for many, a feeling of embarrassment. In these moments, it's easy to get caught up in negative thoughts, to feel as though you failed in some fundamental way. But I want to pause here and gently remind you of something profoundly important. Intimacy is not about meeting a target, a goal, or checking off a box of expectations. True intimacy is about something much deeper. It's about the connection we share with another person, the emotional closeness, and the way we communicate through touch, words, and presence. When a man experiences a loss of firmness during an intimate moment, the first thought that often flashes through his mind is, "What's wrong with me?" It's a painful question, one that can trigger a flood of self-doubt, fear, and even shame. It can feel as though you've let yourself and your partner down. But here's where I want to stop you for a moment and offer a different perspective. This experience is far more common than we realize, and it doesn't define your worth or your capability to connect with someone. Studies have shown that nearly half of men over the age of 50 will experience some form of erectile dysfunction at some point in their lives. This is a reality many men face, but it's often kept in the shadows unspoken because of the shame associated with it. But we need to bring this into the light, because it's not always a sign of a serious underlying problem. Sometimes it's just life. It's stress, it's fatigue, it's a change in routine, or even something as simple as an unexpected distraction in the environment. What's important to remember is that our bodies, just like our minds, are deeply affected by what's happening around us. One of the biggest culprits behind moments of physical difficulty is stress. Often, without even realizing it, we carry the weight of our everyday challenges, our work pressures, our financial worries, our family responsibilities, into the most intimate spaces of our lives. The bedroom, a place that should be about relaxation and pleasure, becomes another space where we feel the burden of these invisible struggles. And while our minds may be telling us to focus on the moment, to enjoy the pleasure, our bodies may be quietly struggling under the weight of these unseen tensions. It's heartbreaking to think that in moments when we crave closeness and connection, we can feel so isolated and disconnected. But here's the thing, intimacy is not just a physical act. It's not just about the firmness of an erection or the ability to perform. Intimacy is an experience that transcends the physical. It's emotional, spiritual, and deeply personal. It's about two people coming together to share a moment of vulnerability, trust, and closeness. And sometimes, the most intimate moments are not defined by perfection, but by the grace with which we navigate imperfection. Instead of focusing solely on the physical aspect of the encounter, let's take a step back and see the bigger picture. An intimate moment is not just about what happens physically. It's about how we feel, how we connect, and how we respond to each other's needs. It's about communication, empathy, and being fully present with your partner, even when things don't go as planned. When we shift our perspective from performance to presence, from outcome to experience, we open the door to a much richer, more meaningful form of intimacy. Imagine this. You're with someone you care deeply about, and in a moment of vulnerability, instead of feeling embarrassed or frustrated, you choose to lean into that moment with compassion and understanding. You embrace the fact that your body is simply responding to life stresses, and you allow yourself to be human. And in that vulnerability, something magical happens. You connect on a deeper level with your partner. You talk, you laugh, you hold each other. And in doing so, you realize that intimacy is so much more than a physical act. It's about being seen, being accepted, and being loved, not for how perfectly your body performs, but for who you are. I believe that when we learn to approach intimacy with this mindset, we open the door to a deeper, more fulfilling connection with our partners. We learn that it's okay to have moments of imperfection, because those are the moments that remind us of our shared humanity. They remind us that love, connection, and intimacy are not defined by flawless execution, but by the way we show up for each other when things don't go as planned. And so, the next time you find yourself feeling frustrated or disappointed, remember this. You are not alone in this experience. Many men face this, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. What matters most is how you choose to respond. With kindness, with patience, and with an understanding that true intimacy is not about performance, but about presence. In the end, isn't that what we all crave? To be truly present with someone. To be accepted for who we are, not just for what our bodies can do. This is the heart of intimacy. And when we embrace that, we find that the moments we once viewed as obstacles become opportunities for deeper connection, greater understanding, and a more profound sense of love. Several studies have suggested something truly liberating. When we release ourselves from the heavy burden of having to perform perfectly, our bodies often have a remarkable way of naturally regaining their responsiveness. It's almost as though, in the absence of pressure, our physical selves are free to express themselves more naturally and more fluidly. During those moments when your body doesn't respond as expected, it's vital not to panic. While the instinct may be to feel disappointment or frustration, what's truly needed in these moments is patience, understanding, and a shift in perspective. These situations can be challenging, but they also present an opportunity, a beautiful chance to connect with your partner in ways that go far beyond the physical. If you notice a loss of firmness, the worst thing you can do is fixate on what your body isn't doing. This mindset only serves to deepen any anxiety, further distancing you from the emotional and physical connection you're seeking. Instead, try to redirect your focus from the physical outcome to the shared experience of pleasure. When we stop seeing intimacy as a performance and start viewing it as an exchange of joy and affection, the pressure lifts and something beautiful can unfold. Now, let me offer some practical techniques that can help you find calm in these moments and, in many cases, can even help reignite the physical response naturally. One of the most powerful techniques is what I like to call the conscious pause. When you sense the firmness diminishing, instead of rushing to fix the situation or allowing panic to take over, stop. Take a moment to breathe. Slow down. Take a couple of long, deep breaths, inhaling slowly and holding the air in your lungs for a few seconds. Then, gently exhale, feeling the tension release from your body. This may seem simple, but the effect on your nervous system is profound. It's like hitting a reset button on your anxiety. The slow, mindful breathing triggers the body's natural relaxation response, reducing the mental and emotional tension that might be blocking your physical arousal. In that state of relaxation, your body is far more likely to return to its natural rhythm. Your mind clears, and the anxieties that are holding you back begin to dissolve. By allowing yourself this moment of calm, you create space for your body to respond in a more organic, natural way. The truth is, when we're calm, when we let go of the need to control every aspect of the situation, our bodies tend to respond much better. You may even find that, by simply taking this mindful pause, your physical response reactivates without any effort at all. This conscious pause is not just about the breath, though. It's also about allowing yourself to connect with your partner in the moment. Use this time to engage in other forms of touch, to communicate with them, and to share your feelings. By shifting the focus away from performance and onto connection, you open the door to a deeper, more fulfilling experience. This shared intimacy, free of pressure, often creates an atmosphere of safety and trust, which can naturally lead to a reawakening of physical arousal. So, the next time you find yourself in this situation, remember that your body is not betraying you. It's simply responding to the emotional and physical environment around you. Instead of viewing it as a failure, see it as an opportunity to deepen the connection with your partner. Through patience, mindfulness, and gentle redirection, not only can you regain your sense of calm, but you may also find that your body responds in ways you hadn't anticipated, allowing you to experience intimacy in a richer, more profound way than before. One thing that many people rarely consider, but can be incredibly transformative in the intimate experience, is the idea of changing the pace of the encounter. So often, we get caught up in the belief that intimacy has to follow a rigid script. This step leads to that, and then to something else. But the reality is far more flexible and open to interpretation. When you feel yourself losing firmness, it doesn't mean that the moment is lost or that the connection between you and your partner has to suffer. This can be an opportunity to shift the focus in a way that deepens your bond even more. At times like this, take a step back from the physical expectations and embrace other, equally beautiful ways of connecting with your partner. There's an incredible amount of tenderness and love in simply being present with each other. Let your hands do the talking through soft, intentional caresses. Let your lips linger in deep, passionate kisses that carry a message beyond words. And then, there's the magic of skin-to-skin contact. Feeling the warmth of your partner's body pressed against yours can reignite that spark in ways you might not expect. These subtle, gentle gestures can be just as intimate, if not more so, than the act itself. For many people, myself included, the pressure to perform perfectly in these moments can often create more tension than pleasure. We put this immense expectation on ourselves to maintain physical firmness, as if that's the only way to experience true connection. But the reality is, when you release that pressure, something truly remarkable happens. By letting go of the need to follow a certain routine, by allowing your body to relax into the moment, you give yourself and your partner the freedom to explore intimacy in its most genuine form. And in many cases, once that mental burden is lifted, the body naturally finds its way back, responding with renewed energy. It's so important to understand that intimacy isn't just about the physical act itself. It's about the emotional closeness, the vulnerability, and the shared experience of being present with one another. Many couples discover that when they let go of the rigid expectation of performance, they find new levels of pleasure and connection they didn't know existed. When the mind is freed from the pressure of needing to maintain firmness, the body often responds in ways that feel more authentic and organic. This can make the entire experience more fulfilling and more meaningful. Think about it. Intimacy is really about more than just the mechanics. It's about creating a space where you and your partner feel completely safe, accepted, and cherished. It's about the warmth that fills the room when you both let go of expectations and allow yourselves to simply be with each other. In those moments of shared vulnerability, there's a deeper kind of closeness that forms. One that isn't defined by performance, but by the pure connection of hearts, minds, and souls. And isn't that the most beautiful part of being with someone? The ability to connect on a deeper level, where love and tenderness replace any sense of pressure or anxiety. So, the next time you find yourself in an intimate moment and things aren't going exactly as planned, remember that this is an opportunity, not a setback. Take it as a chance to explore other ways of expressing love and closeness. Trust in the fact that intimacy is far more about emotional connection than physical performance. And when you do, you might just find that your body responds in ways you never expected. Because true intimacy thrives when the mind and heart are fully engaged, not just the body. It's in these moments of shared tenderness and mutual understanding that the real magic happens. It's so important to remember that sexuality is a rich, multi-layered experience. It's not just about achieving or maintaining an erection. It's about the connection, the intimacy, and the shared moments that define the encounter. When we approach sexuality with this broader perspective, it becomes a much more fulfilling and complete experience. One incredibly powerful technique to keep in mind is that of prolonged contact. Instead of feeling discouraged or thinking the encounter has to end if firmness fades, you can maintain that beautiful closeness with your partner, just in a different way. Sometimes, intimacy is about so much more than physical penetration. In those moments, simply staying close, whether through a warm embrace, locking eyes, or sharing a quiet moment, can foster a deep, emotional connection that reignites the physical response. The power of touch, the comfort of being close, and the emotional safety that intimacy brings often allow the body to respond in ways you might not expect. Studies on emotional and physical intimacy have shown that when you release the need for immediate results, such as an erection, and simply enjoy prolonged contact without any specific expectations, the body often naturally recovers. This can be one of the most effective and gentle ways to allow yourself to regain firmness without stress or pressure. Another incredibly effective method is to change the focus of pleasure entirely. Too often, people become fixated on whether or not the penis is maintaining firmness, and this intense focus can cause anxiety, which makes the situation even more challenging. But what if, instead of zeroing in on this one aspect of intimacy, you expanded your view? If you notice that you're losing firmness, don't dwell on it. Shift your focus to other erogenous zones, both on your body and on your partner's. There's so much to explore beyond just one physical response. The human body is full of sensitive, pleasurable areas that can provide immense satisfaction and deepen the overall experience. Rather than seeing this moment as an obstacle, try to transform it into an opportunity to discover new forms of pleasure that perhaps you haven't considered before. For example, think about exploring your partner's neck, shoulders, inner thighs, or back, places that often go unnoticed but can elicit profound feelings of connection and desire. The key here is to allow yourselves to remain open and curious about each other's bodies. You might find that when you let go of the need for a firm erection and instead focus on enjoying the journey, the pressure disappears and with it, the anxiety. Many people find that when they're no longer preoccupied with performance, the erection naturally returns on its own. It's almost as if the body, once freed from the weight of expectation, can relax and find its way back to arousal naturally. When the focus shifts away from the erection as the main event and instead embraces the entirety of the intimate experience, the body has room to respond more authentically without stress or urgency. This shift in mindset can be incredibly liberating. It allows intimacy to be less about what should happen and more about what feels good right now. And in that space, there's room for playfulness, exploration, and even a deeper kind of connection that transcends the physical. It's in these moments that many couples discover a new level of closeness, one that isn't dependent on performance, but is instead rooted in the shared experience of giving and receiving pleasure. And isn't that what true intimacy is all about? It's about the emotional warmth, the mental connection, and the physical closeness that comes from being fully present with one another. So, the next time you feel the pressure of maintaining firmness creeping in, take a breath and remember that sexuality is not about achieving a perfect performance. It's about embracing the full spectrum of sensations and experiences that come with being close to another person. When you let go of the expectation to perform in a certain way, you'll often find that not only does your body respond better, but the entire encounter becomes more meaningful, more relaxed, and ultimately more fulfilling. While the mind undoubtedly plays a crucial role in sexual health, it's important to remember that physical factors can also have a significant impact. As I've mentioned before, circulation issues can often be at the root of erectile difficulties. Men who suffer from conditions like hypertension, diabetes, or high cholesterol may start to notice that their erections aren't as consistent or as firm as they once were. This is entirely normal, but it can be disheartening and frustrating for those going through it. However, if this resonates with you, know that you're not alone, and there's no reason to feel embarrassed or ashamed about seeking medical advice. Sometimes, even small adjustments to your daily routine, like eating a healthier diet, incorporating regular exercise, or making slight changes to your medication, can have a profound and positive effect on your sexual health. This is where I want to share a more personal reflection with you, one that's been shaped by my experience over the years. In all my years of practice and in talking with countless men and couples, I've seen firsthand how sexuality evolves as we grow older. And while the physical aspects of intimacy may change, yes, firmness may vary. What has always struck me is how much more important the emotional connection becomes with time. When we're younger, it's easy to get caught up in the mechanics of intimacy and to focus on performance or physical ability. But as the years pass, the deep bond you share with your partner, that emotional closeness, becomes the true heart of intimacy. It's not uncommon to hear people say that the physical aspect of sex diminishes with age, but that's not entirely true. What changes, instead, is how we approach it. With age, the emphasis on pure physical performance softens, and what grows stronger is a desire for connection, understanding, and sharing something meaningful with your partner. And I truly believe that this shift in focus can make intimacy even more fulfilling. When we allow ourselves to be present in the moment, without the pressure of having to perform or meet certain expectations, something magical happens. The body often responds in its natural way, and what unfolds is an experience that is not only physically satisfying, but also emotionally nourishing. I've seen so many men come to me, feeling disheartened because they think their bodies are betraying them as they age. But I always tell them the same thing. It's not about perfection. It's about connection. There is quiet wisdom in understanding that intimacy is about more than just physical performance. It's about the closeness you feel when you look into your partner's eyes, the warmth of their skin against yours, and the laughter you share in those private moments. True intimacy transcends physical limitations. When you focus on the emotional bond and let go of the pressure to be perfect, you'll often find that your body is much more responsive than you might have expected. I can't tell you how many times I've seen couples come to this realization. They come to understand that it's not the firmness or the frequency that defines their intimacy, but the quality of the connection they share. And once that pressure to perform is lifted, their bodies naturally follow suit. In many ways, the journey of aging is a reminder to slow down and appreciate these moments more fully. It's an opportunity to rediscover what makes intimacy truly special. The trust, the vulnerability, and the shared experience of being completely open with someone you care about. So if you find yourself worrying about the physical aspects of intimacy as you age, I encourage you to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Yes, physical health is important. And yes, there are things you can do to improve it. But don't forget that the emotional side of intimacy, how you connect, how you communicate, and how you share yourself with your partner, is just as important, if not more so. It's often this emotional connection that can lead to a more satisfying physical response. When you allow yourself to enjoy the moment without worrying about what your body is supposed to do, that's when you create the space for true intimacy to flourish. And in that space, your body will often follow its natural course, responding to the love and connection you're sharing. So, don't hesitate to talk to your doctor if you're noticing changes in your sexual health. It's a common part of life, and sometimes just a few small adjustments can make all the difference. But above all, remember that the heart of intimacy lies in the connection you share with your partner. It's in the moments when you let go of expectations and simply enjoy being with one another that the most meaningful experiences unfold. It's equally important to remember that if you find yourself facing this situation frequently, seeking the guidance of a sexual therapist or couples therapist can be incredibly beneficial. Often, erectile difficulties aren't purely physical. They can be tied to the dynamics within your relationship. Sometimes, underlying emotional factors or unspoken tensions between partners can play a significant role, and a professional can help untangle these issues. Through open communication, targeted exercises, and new techniques for fostering emotional and physical connection, many couples find that they can overcome these challenges and emerge stronger and closer than ever. I want you to keep this in mind. Losing firmness during intimacy is not the end of the encounter, nor is it a sign of failure. Far from it. It's an invitation to experience intimacy in a different, perhaps even more meaningful way. It opens the door to exploring new forms of pleasure, different ways of expressing your connection, and most importantly, an opportunity to deepen the emotional bond you share with your partner. Sexuality, especially as we mature, is not about striving for perfection. It's not about ticking off boxes or meeting some arbitrary standard of performance. Instead, it's about savoring the moment, the warmth, the closeness, the affection that's exchanged between you and your partner. It's about appreciating the beauty of your body and your partner's body, and the simple joy of being in each other's company. In many ways, maturity brings with it a kind of wisdom that allows us to see the true essence of intimacy. It's not about physical prowess or flawless performance. It's about the connection, the real, deep, meaningful connection that is shared in those private moments. When you embrace this, you realize that there's so much more to sexuality than just firmness or performance. It's about the way you communicate with your partner, the way you make them feel seen and valued, and the way you create a safe and loving space for each other. So, when you face these moments, remind yourself that this is not a failure. It's an opportunity to grow closer, explore new pleasures, and truly enjoy the intimate connection you have. Because at the heart of it all, the most fulfilling aspect of intimacy is not perfection. It's the joy of being fully present, both with your partner and within yourself. As we come to the end of this discussion, I hope you've gained valuable insights into the true essence of intimacy, especially as we age. Sexuality isn't just about physical performance, but about deep emotional connection, communication, and embracing new ways of sharing pleasure. I'd love to know, what have you learned from today's video? Is there one thing that resonated with you that you plan to put into practice in your own life? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a comment, and please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching.